Okay. It's an exciting day. It's in the day you're there at the Yimei of Shashlumin. If you missed out anything on Chag HaShavuos, if you didn't have enough cheesecake or blintzes, or there is you missed out a little bit on the Limud HaTorah that you wanted to do L'Kovet Chag HaShavuos, we can scan doch sein, and hopefully it will be that Mashiach Tzidkenu will show up, and then we'll be done. Since it's in the Yimei Tashlumin, since we were, if we could still bring the 3 korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash, do you say that there has to be the Chalois Achiyuv and it has to start, and then you have Yimei Tashlumin, where you say that what's the difference? It's like 7 days. Just the Gzeda Shava is to learn from Pesach and from Sukkot that they have 7 days. So Shavuos has 7 days. So Medaf noch klaren, we have to be done. Mitzvah Hashem Mashiach will come today if we could still bring a Oila Siriyah and a Shalmei Chagiga and a Shalmei Simcha. Okay. That's not what we're going to judge. So today I wanted to, no one asked me the Shaila, so I'm not discussing the Shaila. I'm only discussing 3 Shailas that I was asked. The first Shaila actually was, I was asked, firstly, I wanted to make the Shir Shavila Kovid, my daughter's Bas MItzvah, and also it should be, thank you, and you'll see in a second, that's why I picked the Shaila. And the other thing is Mrs. Cantor's late husband, Meir Ben Shmuel, today is his Yortzeit. Okay, so someone asked me a couple of months ago, Taka, the Shaila. They asked me about if they're in Avelis, and at the time I gave a shir. The person asked me a Shaila about joining us for this mitzvah, and I was makel very strongly because it's a Sudas mitzvah based on somebody showing him. But then he said, how about them going to Bas MItzvah? How about Bas MItzvah? It's already a more of a Shaila. Is it Taka Sudas mitzvah? So at the time, I printed out a slew of Shalos and Chuvas about it, and I asked around what the Rebbe's opinion is on it, and I paskined at the time for him, but now this Sunday, as I was preparing the shir, I was saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe I should discuss this. I still had this in my stack. It wasn't in the Sheamus bucket yet, and it was still in the bucket of stuff that I have to look at. So, Friday is the Bas Mitzvah, my daughter Bat Sheva. She was born on Motzei Chag HaShavuos, and she's our 7th daughter. So we named her Bat Sheva, and also she was born Motzei Shavuos, which is a Shaykh David HaMelech. So at some point you start getting you're not anymore as the list of names that were handed down to you are not so important, and also you already fulfilled many basic obligations. So you have the luxury of giving names or letting your wife pick a name, whatever that she likes. Anyway, bottom line, there's 2. Let's go about a bottom mitzvah. What's a bottom mitzvah? There's 2 reasons to the bottom mitzvah. One is there is a Zoyar and a Gemara. The Zoyar is a few pieces, Zer Chodesh and Bereishis, Daf Yud, and then Tav Tezvav, a whole story about the Bar Mitzvah of Rebbe Eliezer. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai made a big, the Rebbe says the Chiddush is not that he made a Bar Mitzvah. We find the Gemara that he made a big toides, and he said he made a big Seudah, and he served all kinds of foods, and he put out beautiful, that the Zoyar is Meirich Bazeh, that he put out beautiful Kalim on the table. And you might say, it's something to do with Rebbe Eliezer, because Rebbe Eliezer was a special tzaddik, and he knew, but it's not true. The Magen Avraham brings the Zoyar as a Rai and Siman Reish Chapei for every Bar Mitzvah. So as a Shaykh says every Yid. The other thing is the Mashal, Yam Sheshlema Babakama, which is a Mashal that I quote many times, brings a Rai from a Fedish Gemara, because the Papa thought that a person who is a saginor, a person that can't see, is bottom in a mitzvahs, and then hashta the shamayna godla mitzvah v'yoyse avidna yoyma tova l'rabbanan. When he found out that he's mechuyev b'mitzvahs, he was always doing the mitzvahs, but when he found out that he's mechuyev b'mitzvahs, he made a yom tova l'rabbanan. So the Yam Sheshlema says, Ima la besura the Kollel mitzvah beoisa rotza lasas yomtiv. Al boy ha'ez vazman the mitzvah beoisa lachas kama v'kama sheroi lasas yomtiv. Madach he made a yomtiv when he found out that he's mitzvah beoisa when a person on the day of his bar mitzvah, then for sure it's a yomtiv. And the Yamsher Shlema says that the minig why a bocher bar mitzvah says adrosha is because sometimes you can't make the bar mitzvah boy b'yoim. That's a chashayla is a sudas mitzvah. So therefore, when he says adrosha dvar toida, for sure becomes a sudas mitzvah. So we have two reasons for celebrating the bar mitzvah. One in the Zohar, which is the Zohar says that a special neshama is coming into my son on this day, and one from the Gemara, which is not mefurish so much, but the Marshal is learning it from the Gemara because that's the day. Then he becomes mitzvah v'yois and doing mitzvahs. And the first, oh, I already mentioned the words from the Ben Ish Chai. Oh, but I said from the, but not this part of the Ben Ish Chai. I know I spoke about the Ben Ish Chai. It's the same Ben Ish Chai. It's the same shtickle in Parshas Re'eh. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Very good. Yeah.
Also for that same bar mitzvah. Version that Rabbi Havdalah says, is that in the Gemara?
In the Gemara Brachos.
Yeah. Well, I'm not aware that we're saying it.
It's not in the list of Gemara Brachos?
It's in the Midrash. I'm not aware that we say it by a Bas MItzvah. Perhaps the Rav could punch on that.
Yeah.
That's one. You really shouldn't say it between below.
Sabatak, a minig is not to say it.
It's written without lifting them off.
Taka, the minig Chabad is not to say it. Minig Chabad is not to say it. Hashem Malchus. Say below Hashem Malchus.
The Rishon sign that you made the bar mitzvah.
It's just written without it.
I hear.
Okay.
Rabbi, the bar mitzvah that the Rashbi made is for his son Rabbi Eliezer.
Yeah.
Was with him?
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to Bas Mitzvah, so it's really a discussion contemporary posting today. So no one ever asked the Shaila before. The only one that asked the Shaila before is the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai, and that same Ben Ish Chai that we spoke about once in Parshas Re'eh, Shon Rishon Ois Yudayin, writes like this: Gam Habas b'yom shetikonas b'chiyuv mitzvahs afal pi shaloi nog v'lasas lo suda. By the way, whatever I'm reading now is not in your page. וגם הבאס ביום שתקונס בחיוב המצווה אף על פי שלא ינהוג ולעשות לו סעודה עם כל זה תהיה שמחה אויס היום ותלבש בגדי שבס ואם יש לאל יודע תלבש בגד חודש ותבורך שחיון ותכוון גם על כניסוסה ביואל מצווה. When she makes a shechion, she should have in mind also that she was zeicher to go into the oil of mitzvahs. Okay. Now, there's two ways of reading the Ben Ish Chai. There is those that are mostly contemporary Ashkenaz poskim that Rebbe Vadia Hodaya writes in Yaskalavdi. You see, he says that the minig is not to make a suda, but it sounds like he would have liked there should be a suda, but the point is not the minig. Rebbe Vadia Yosef writes, Hine afsher kosav שלא ינהוג לעשות לו סעודה, בזמן הזה אויסים סעודה, יופי אויסים, וכן נראה מלושנה של הרע בן איש חי, שטוב לא דוב את זה רק במנהג, so בזמן הזה it is the minhag, and there's others that go further, that they write that the father should make patrani me'oinsha shel zu, yeah, and that it's considered a sudas mitzvah. Okay. However, okay. If we give me a chance to flesh it out, we'll figure it out. So, on the other hand, from a lot of contemporary Ashkenaz poskim, so you have Moshe the Be'er Moshe. He says, "Sorry, chiyun godel. Lama be'emes lo inogu rabbeseinu gedoyle Rishon if she asks a suda b'yom Shabbos nasas gedoyle." Elamai, he says, it must be that ma'olam lo shamana v'rinu b'shum sefer kadman sheyatsa suda labas shenichnases b'brisa toira v'ninegra ze nilkech ma'goy. The Tzitz Eliezer writes, you see, even the Ben Ish Chai, he didn't say you should make, he says, Lapol, that there is no minik for it. Adarabe. Adarabah, you shouldn't break the minhag. You shouldn't make a suda. And if you make a suda, you're binichshul na bizerai dagila arayis. Huh? Okay.
Let's look at this is that it was an innovation of the reformers. But the reformers, let's do something good. You should have done it before that.
Okay, exactly. We'll get to that in a second. Exactly. There's a Bavrom Shalezinger in Geneva. He has a sefer Be'er Sorim. He says that there are people that make a suda for Bas MItzvah. Mekorev chadoshim hinhigu minig zeh. Lo yiknu shvise bebote acharedim ledvar Hashem. Zot kedivre Reb Moshe Feinstein b'sefer Igris Moshe shudvar hevel. He didn't really write it whatever. We just said it's not a sudas mitzvah. There was a chief rabbi in Eretz Yisrael, the Rishon is Reb Yitzchak Nissim. He was before the Bavad Yosef. Very, very. He was
in my bar mitzvah, sitting next to him.
Oh wow! I wanted to talk about the shvach of Reb Yitzchak Nissim that it seemed. You see from his articles and his besides he was a Talmid Chacham, he wasn't just a ceremonial chief rabbi. He was Yeshid and Shuvas v'chulu. But he seemed to be also a very gentle soul. So there's a whole bunch of letters that there's a letter he wrote to a girl where the girl is complaining. How come they make boys for the boys and not for the girls? So he writes to her like this: Hasiba shelielad urchim. B'kol kehilus Yisrael chagigas bar mitzvah u'mishum shebeyoyim sheboy nichnas aloy la mitzvahs netoysev aloy mitzvah miyad mitzvahs anochas tefillin b'oid asher hayalda amdam nichnases aloy la mitzvahs ulam ein oimed b'faneh mitzvah miyuchedes miyadit.
Good answer.
He says a boy the day of bar mitzvah right away is chayiv to do certain mitzvahs. That day he has to run to shul and put on 12. A girl, she's chayiv in mitzvahs. There's no mitzvah she has to run and do. Kol bayom. There is no mitzvah that day. But he writes he says, he writes that ein zoyt meret she'ein abas mitzvah tzrich l'smoyach b'yom knesas mitzvahs. It's not that you shouldn't rejoice in that day. Adarabah, rotzui larich lechagiga lekoved mu'urazeh. Es hat a chagiga yesh larach babayit bechevrat kroivim v'yedidim b'shtatvut shel Rav harav yisa dvarim lekovod v'yidaber b'mailus achoiva lishmer es ha-mitzvus u'b'schar shem mekaymein. He said that she should make a party in the house and invite the local Orthodox rabbi that should talk about the mile of Shemidas ha-mitzvus, and she should buy a beged chodesh and make shechionu. Like the Ben Ish Chai. So it was very.
Mention about Barsha Katronic.
No. So
they did this. The thing they do these days, renting the hall, making a big thing for the guests. That's something new.
Right.
In the old days, they had boys. They just didn't have.
Atazai. So that.
Yeah.
And then. Okay. So that's a. But again, like I said, you have Ashkenazim. You have Lamoshel. There's you have in England Rabbanan Valken, who's Bal Musar. So he writes, he says, "Ein dain milim l'tayr choymer iser v'goydel amachshoylo befrat shoysim kema umas v'rishay poishi Yisrael osalon midiraisa raklis damas la'akum poishi Yisrael reformer."
One second, he said that the goyim doing it too, according to it.
Yeah, because they make make a confirmation. They make for a boy and a girl, and So the last night I spoke about a very choshev Rov who was a Rov in Berlin. I mentioned yesterday the Rebbe got smicha from him, Rabbi Yechiel Weinberg, who is Sri Deish. So the Sri Deish writes that he says, I'm sorry, I respectfully disagreed to making a big deal, making it a Issa Deraisa. He says the Reformer also not doing it because of the confirmation they're going. The Reformer doing it because again, because the boys and the girls. and they're not doing it mehechitesa. He says, I know. Listen, Rabbi Weinberg, one thing he for sure knew, he knew reform ganz good. He says they're not doing it to be medama to confirmations that the Notzirim are doing. They just want to make a celebration equal for the boys and the girls. And he says, "Gama reformim ma'ameinu, ein oisen ken kidei lidomas, alo l'shem chagiga mishpachtit, for the boys and the girls should be equal. L'chazik leiv Bas shegir mitzvahs." He says, "I don't see anything wrong with it." He says, and then he says a very nice word. It sounds like a Lubavitcher word almost. He says, people are screaming against the Bas mitzvah. He says, well, because the Jewish people never used to make Bas mitzvah. He says, in the Rishonim v'Acharonim, Jewish people never sent their kids to school. They never taught them algebra or math. They never taught to read and write to their daughters. The daughter lived under her mother's apron, and she learned all the basic halachas from her mommy until she got married, and then she taught it to her daughter. Now you're telling me that the girl is going to school, she's getting assignments, she's reading literature, Das is out. That you didn't ask Sifrei Kadmoinim v'Rishonim. For this, you didn't say Lo re'inu v'lo mishamanu ma'avois avosenu. So, and now this girl is growing up in a Western society. She is reading the alphabet. She is writing. And now, when it comes that she became a chuyev b'mitzvahs, you're going to put it under the rug. You're not going to emphasize the gaval that she became a chuyev b'mitzvahs. What are you telling me, B'doros Rishonim? B'doros Rishonim, she knew nothing besides what her mommy taught her in the house. It was Taka Kol Kluda Mas Melech B'nima. So that was his taina. I think it's a very, 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 very strong taina. Oh, what does the Rebbe say? I was very curious. What is... So I was... No. So, unbelievable. The Rebbe had a few things about it, but I'll tell you the one thing that I get out of it. Someone wrote up a thing. He says that he asked people about this, and there was a mechanech that asked the Rebbe about the Bas mitzvahs. The Rebbe said, if this girl or friends are making Bas mitzvahs, she should also make, to try to minimize the hoo-ha. If her friends are not doing, she shouldn't do it. The Rebbe said that B'chlal, a minig bilter rotze, there's two ways to deal with it. B'savlanut, or lasot b'kesef mu'et. In Yiddish, kleingeld. Don't start making big things. Issa de reise, there's 25 Yisurim, it's a bezerayda, where the Zorah Gilaraya, Shvichas Domim. Don't do that. It's a very, basically, it seems that the Rebbe didn't want, it's interesting, you would have thought, today, if you go to Chabad houses, they make a big thing from the bat mitzvah. But you have to realize, because they're using it as a tool to be mekadev people. But the for our children, it's a very...
By the...
1 second, let me finish.
Oh, sure.
Amar Abaye, was Abaye gesagt. So the thing is that in Lubavitch itself, the shaila is, how should it be? So mamish, I'm telling you about my children go to school, B'nai Menachem, a very, very good school. And they used to have very strong rules against making a Bas mitzvah. Lately, they tried to do a tikkun, which was the opposite of a tikkun. So what we did with our daughters, that friends come to our house, and it's a kleingeld, mamish kleingeld. Our first daughter, we asked her, what do you want to do? So she said, I'd like to make pizza with my friends. So we went to Amnon's Pizza, and we bought, now you can buy it in the store, frozen pizza. And we bought a big piece of dough. Every friend got a little piece of dough, and we gave them sticks. And everyone made their own pizza. The ganze Bas mitzvah didn't cost $99.99. So every kid wants to do what her older sister did. So it's a geblieben. Now, our daughters go to school. The school wanted to make a takona, but but a takona has like two sides to it. They have a hall. They own several halls. So they have their lunchroom, which is and they have their own caterer because they have a hall in the basement. So they made a davar shava v'chol nefesh. That's $2,000, and it's a whole package deal. So this way, they don't want parents going crazy and renting halls.
For women, not for men.
No, they have a whole takona. They have the family could come, and the friends. I don't know. I'm not part of that takona. I'm not interested. My kids still want to do the pizza with their friends.
It's the best.
They still want to do the pizza with their friends.
Who does all the kids together? All goes together?
No, every girl, it's Bas MItzvah. They make a takona. You can't do it. You get kicked out of the school. And this is very strict. If they catch you have they catch you a cell phone that's not. They have to have control over all the electrical devices that this student have. So supposedly the principal of my daughter's school could get into my phone. I'm totally for it. I have no problem with it. I know there's some parents that you don't like it, so that's it. That the school says there's other schools. Go somewhere else. I know it sounds very harsh. But oh, so she said Dvar Torah. I said Dvar Torah. I think most families do.
Set Dvar Torah that
No set, not like my boys. No set Dvar Torah. On the parsha, Dvar Torah on the parsha. A nice Dvar Torah. So that's what the mitzvah already. The mice, I just want to summarize. You see that the contemporary Sephardi poskim thought it was a very good idea. So a lot of the Ashkenazi poskim, I think a lot of the Ashkenazi poskim that we're dealing with was not dealing with people that if you said no, it wouldn't be merachik anyone. But I must say the truth. That's a lot of Ashkenazi contemporary poskim think it's a terrible thing. You see that Rebbe Shita was to try to make clean guilt. No, not to try to make. The Rebbe obviously didn't think it's a bizarai, and he didn't think it's a terrible thing. On the other hand, the Rebbe didn't like that we should make chadoshim mekorev bo to make a new thing. If it's that. So what was the Rebbe's eitzah to Machancha was you should not be mishana bas ben abonis. If in your school, do whatever her friends are doing. Look what her friends are doing. It's very important. Sometimes it's families that are medaktiki b'mitzvahs, and they make this mistake. They're not looking at what their friends are doing. It's very nice that you're a mahader b'mitzvahs, huh?
someone has to set the standard. I mean, there has to be some
I know,
lower there.
I understand, but on the other hand, huh? Right.
Yes,
It's not always in your hands. You have to look. If you have a child in a school, in a class, but the Rebbe is telling this machanech's father, you have to look at what the other kids are doing. You're going to say, "Chadoshim mekorev bo." We're not going to make a bas mitzvah party. It's not. Always going to you're going to have all kinds of things. The bottom line is that how's your daughter going to feel about it? How's your daughter going to feel about Yiddishkeit? How are your daughter going to feel about herself? Same thing as with boys, and it's the same idea. You can't be out of touch about what if your child is in a school, you have to know what. So you have to pick them up. You have to know. Sometimes you should set a standard, but you have to always take in consideration what their friends are doing. Anyway, Dave Shalofan.
Did you already say anything about who made it best? Claim the yoke was born, the Lord's also.
No, I don't know. I didn't ask. I only asked about. I'll tell you what. I know that the Rebbe's opinion, like Abe Chasnas, when they asked the Rebbe about making takonas, the Rebbe didn't like it. The Rebbe didn't like the idea of making a takona of a one size fits all. I don't know why, but the Rebbe didn't like it. If there's an usher that wants to make a big chasna for a son, let him make. Meichi Tesi that everyone has to. So you're going to say that the takana for the oni is that we should tie the hands of the usher and tell him not to make a fancy wedding. Maybe. I know that the Rebbe was not into making takonas on this thing. Not into it. The Rebbe. Personally, the Rebbe spoke about it so many times. The Rebbe was against even that siblings should spend money on tickets to come. Ad kedei kach.
Tickets?
A plane ticket that a brother should come from Eretz Yisrael to America for a chasna. The Rebbe would say gepata tegelt. Ad kedei kach. Probably today is different.
Oh, he said not to?
Not to. Why are you wasting money? Give the money to tzedakah. But on the other hand, the Rebbe didn't like this idea of making a takona of a dove shava b'chol nefesh. And what happens? A person is an osher gadol, and for him, sending a ticket to come from Eretz Yisrael to America chasna is not a big deal. So you're going to make now a takona, a dove shava. The Rebbe didn't like the idea of making a takona. Every person should do don't go into choives, do whatever you can afford. You can make up a mitzvah in your house, make it in your house. If he's a osher gadol and he wants to make him the whole, why should we make a takona that he shouldn't make it? For him, it's plain geld. It's no big deal. So why should we make a takona? The Rebbe was not into making takonas. That's just the way it was. On the other hand, the Rebbe spoke about it many times about people that are going into chayvus for things, for making simchas when it's a dovish amabakach.
By the way, do we know the origin? No, when Bar and Bas MItzvah started, Bar MItzvah
Bar mitzvah started by the Belazar B'Reb Shimon. We know, we just spoke.
Right.
That's a new thing that's called bar mitzvah. It's a bar mitzvah for dogs. A bar mitzvah.
No, it's not in a terror. Right? Bar mitzvah is not in a terror either, right?
No, the
That's
mitzvah.
what
It's a minig Yisrael that we see that's in the Gemara, but already we see it in the Gemara. Okay, someone asked me a shayla. He lives in the sticks in a farm,
Right.
and his roof. He has a problem with the roof. He has a problem with his roof. So he got a roofer, a Kollel, and there's a price to fix his roof. The guy called him, Erev Shuas, my workers are available. Can we go ahead? The guy calls me up. It's Erev Shuas. Says 2 days of Yom Tov. It's a frume yid. He knows you're not allowed to have a guy working for you.
Okay.
But it's a roof and it can leak. What's the din? Help the Eibishter. Help the Eibishter that this shaila was negaya to base Menachem Mendel Namish on Yom Tov. So I already passed him before Yom Tov. Funny thing was that the same person, I wouldn't tell him, or his mother called me a few days before. Her house needs to be painted because there's mold in the house. So the mother, I told her it's also, and the son, I told him it's mutter. Why? So the nakuda of the reason of the psak was, the din is that if you have a kablan, that's mutter, you're not allowed to have a sker yom b'Shabbos. A kablan, if you give a guy a job, and he doesn't have to do it, you gave him a car to fix, he could do it Sunday, Monday, Friday, Shabbos. So if he's doing the work in Shabbos, you don't have to be moicha. But if you're living within the Tchum Shabbos where Yidden could live, then you're not, because it's a Chil Hashem. Why is it Chil Hashem? Because people don't know. Let's read it quickly inside. Because of Shulchan Aruch Rabbeinu, באמת דברים אומרים שמותר להניח לקבלן נוכרי לעשות בשבס, כשעושה מלאכה בדבר תולש מן הקרקע, שהנוכרי יוכל לעשות את בבייסי, או במקום אחר שאין רשות ישראל, ואין הדבר ניקר שמלאכת ישראל, ואין כחשש מנסיים. אבל כשעושה במחובר לקרקע, גם שקיבלו לבנס בייס ישראל, ליקט ישראל לישראל, כיוון שהקרקע גלויים ותפסמס לכל של ישראל, ניקר הדבר לכל רואה שגם מלאכה היא של ישראל, לפי כחימה בתוך עיר ובתוך התחום, עושה להניח שיעשה בשבס ממאנס עין, שרואה יום שהוא שכיר יום. Anyone that sees a guy working in a Jewish farm and on a Jewish house, he's going to say he's paying him by the hour, he's paying him by the day, and that's also. יש לו שם יזדמנו לשם אורחים שישבצו אצלו ויראו את הנוכרי. עסק בשבס, בקרקע, ישראל ויחשדו שהנוכרי שכיר יום אצלו. If he is even living in a village between goyim, and there's no shchenim yidden, but maybe there's going to be a few yidden that are going to come in a local kretschma, and they're going to come out Shabbos, and they'll see that a Jew is house, they're doing work. What about his children? What about his children? The children don't know what are the financial deals between him and the amigos. Are the amigos getting paid per the hour, per the day, per the job? So they think that daddy is paying per hour, and that he's fixing the roof. And they're going to think that their father has a guy working for him on Shabbos. אבל כשעושה בדבר תולש, אף שמקצת ישראל יודעים שמלאכי של ישראל, לגוצר כמה, כמי שריבה פעמים מהדבר, נוידע לאחרים כלל שמלאכת תולש, אין לו כל כלל, שאין כשעושה מחובה שבדבר גולם מפורסם, וריבה פעמים מלאכת גלויים מפרסמס לרבה, שמלאכת המחובה יש לו כל, לפיקח אם בפעמים אין חשש שמאנס עין, אבל מקצת ישראל גוצר חכמים. Chachamim made a davar shavam. They said the davar, which is mechuber l'karka, if you can have a guy working, a guy is delivering to your store in Shabbos. It doesn't matter that you didn't tell him to do it in Shabbos. A guy is working on your roof, a guy is working on your garden, a guy is working in your building, in your farm. So if it's B'tchum Shabbos where Yidden could walk there, then there's a problem. The thing is, the project shows some malacha b'techia b'techet chum shechel man she'olei l'shem b'Shabbos shows some malacha chutz l'tchum וגם הנה רחרש ישרול, דונם בבטוח, תחום של המקום המלאכה, מוטל הניחם שעס בשבס. So, this person that asked me the shaila, his house is out of the Tchum Shabbos of where Yidden live. And he wasn't going to be home for Shavuos. He was going to be away for Shavuos. So him and his Bnei Bayis were not going to be there. Yeah. No. Tchum Shabbos where Yid could walk. So this guy is living in a place which is there's no Tchum Shabbos where Yid lives. And him and his Bnei Bayis, huh? Yeah. So and the Bnei Bayis, Tchum Shabbos is not that big. Like if you're living in the sticks, down the block, it's Tchum Shabbos. So he knows that there's no Yidden around him. Him and his Bnei Bayis are not going to be there. Now, even if it would be a shaila because it's only of the oid, if you could be makel and it's a roof and it's leaking. So, but the Metzias was that he wasn't going to be in Shavuos in his house. So the Bnei Bayis are not there. What are you scared that the children think but the children are not there, so they don't know. And this house is not b'toich tchum. Mashenkin, someone else, huh? So there's no child, right? No one is around, right? Mashenkin, someone else called me, and they live in an apartment in a Yiddish neighborhood. Emes taka mold is a terrible thing, and Emes taka whatever. But I said you can't do it on Yom Tov. You can't do it on Shabbos.
Stubber off doesn't make a difference in the sketch.
No. So the health Eibishter was negated to us. That first of all, it's also for Yeshiva Flatbush Center workers. They're not kablonim because the workers said that they're schide yoim. So schide yoim is also no, it's fine. The schide yoim, it's also lagamri, and even you would say that they're kablonim, that it's still also because it's and you see it's a chilul Hashem, and you see Chazal say that if you do malacha and it's also to do, you don't say a siman bracha. So you see Advar Pella, whatever they did, it didn't last. One pole fell down, one pole got chopped down, we don't know how. The wind. Epis Nisim Geshed. You see that the malacha was not the sky. You see Adnes is Geshed. That itself is a siman. That it was because it was a David Osur, so it wasn't the sky.
Rabbi, I want to say one
How
thing.
can they do it though? They do it.
I don't know.
Bet Torah, Rabbi Eli Rabat is now the rabbi of Dubai. When the Torah Shalem, he was a rabbi there and bought the next house, and they're fixing it, and he told them Shabbat is 4:00. They had to stop. Came one day Friday, 4:10, they're still working. So I told the committee, what's this? I said, you have to finish till 5:00. He left the job.
Wow.
He left
Kiddush Hashem. Kiddush
and
Hashem.
right away, Safra Shul in Manhattan, Kollel, come be the rabbi, guys.
Beautiful.
I'm what?
Come be the rabbi.
Tell them to
Oh,
give a
wow.
call to Yeshiva Flatbush. Because they're not listening. They say I'm Ashkenazi. Maybe I'm paskening from a different Shulchan No. It's only by a Yid. It's only Chazal v'Keveh that it's only by Yid. Yeah.
Aren't they gonna knock this building down?
I don't know. Mashiach knows.
I mean, it looks like they need a parking lot for their faculty or.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they want this.
Huh?
Also, they're going to buy.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Going to take this also from.
Yeah, I mean, why do you fix it? Why do you go through the motion of fixing it? They're gonna knock it down.
Nothing. We have to follow the Shulchan Aruch. We mean down the capsules. The Shulchan Aruch says that even if he's a kaplan, he's not allowed to do work for a Yid. There's nothing shaila about limud school. Shaila is what the Shulchan Aruch says.
But the post
They have a lot of what?
Elementary.
That's what he has. No, it doesn't matter. Only you gotta be a Jew.
They're moving
Yeah.
the elementary school from.
Oh, they're going to extend it.
I think they're gonna make a parking lot that where the post office is. If they could use parking on
Good shaila. Leftrach.
You know, he's
You're
trying to
okay?
pay $50,000.
Okay, let's quickly finish off. Someone asked me, maybe we'll leave.
Which is a high worker.
Yeah, yeah.
That means somebody.
He got the
payroll?
job. No, not on the payroll. Kabbalah means he's a contractor. He got paid for the job.
So women, what's yeah,
Schir Yom means he gets paid per the hour, per the day. Kabbalah means he gets paid for the job.
They sound very similar, no? They're both
one-
on payroll. Are they on payroll?
Yeah, one is a 1099, one is a Schir is a W-2.
It's on payroll.
Yes, the payroll.
Okay.
Okay, someone asked me yesterday, I'm teaching the women about the Lochadoidi. So the Bible, a woman asked if you can use electric light for Havdalah. Use electric light for Havdalah. So I don't know. Was is gewesen so wichtig? It was the end of this year, so I couldn't. And I said I'll look into it, and I started looking into it. So the MS is there's three nekudas. There's number one is there's the time old shaila, which is how you look at the electricity. So l'choida, if we see electricity, the classic light bulb. Many the poskim said it's considered like burning a fire. There's a wick. It's giving off light. No, not these light bulbs. The light bulbs that you can't even buy anymore. No.
The incandescent?
Yeah, the incandescent light bulbs, the Amolika light bulbs. Those light bulbs. I thought you said fluorescent. I'm sorry.
No.
The old light bulbs.
Yeah.
So the most poskim ongenommen that it's giving off light, and you're burning a shtickle wick. It gets a little pecham, and it's called machaba mavir minatoida, and it's a malach de'erais. So the flip side, l'choida, should be that you should be able to use it as a Havdalah candle. It's Tesefis. You don't need it. But still, there's those that have a problem that it's maybe you need several colors. Maybe this klingelt, this little shyless about this. The bottom line is that there is the Gedolei Yisrael that did it. Look, there's a long tshuva from a Rav, Reb Shimon ben Meir. It's a Rav in Russia somewhere. Then he was in Yerushalayim. He wrote a long tshuva about electricity. Rav Echad shemach shevatzmei legodol adoyer. Hevi liraya leisur machmas shero lagon Reb Chaim Soloveitchik zechroinei levracha shebirach Allah boire miyoire yoish. Then he argues. He says, "Vanikva kasafti shelavorach boire miyoire eish uch levorach gamal eish shamayim." They came from heaven. Shagamo nikra eish bli sofek. Never mind his taina. I think it's very possible. Why would a Chaim Brisker want to say boire miyoire eish on a candle? He didn't have an Havdalah candle. It's very mistaber that if Chaim Brisker wanted to show the oilam that he feels that an electric light bulb is mamish considered fire. So he made a brocha boire miyoire eish, so the oilam knows that it's not a joke. That the oilam should know that the electric light. Here's bagels. One second. Okay, fine. Okay. Bottom line is any cream cheese. Yeah. The bottom line is that in the Shonim Mitzvah Malacha he brings also that the Darki Tshuva from Munkach and the Tzafnas Paneach from Rogachev that they also held that you could use a light bulb. Okay, that's nice. There is a little bit of a shaila about using a light bulb because l'choida is behind glass. But that's it's a kleine shaila. Let's read it quickly in Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch writes.
Well, I would put it like light bulbs you got things like here. These light bulbs that are blurred. You see here like that looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's the glass is blurred. See how you get that sort of light.
Very good. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I want to get to in a second. The Shulchan Aruch writes, "Siman Echad Siftei Zvav. There b'derech Eikroi, b'derech Panos. Pili shenoisen, kli shenoisen ner shaloi tzachaber. Oy b'derech Splaklaria. Royes shall have as any mishnamish loyde, mishnamish loyde when shall have as. Ein mevorchen le'achi. Royes shall have as mishnamish loyde." That's what Shulchan Aruch says. Mishnah Berurah says, "Hainu, what does it mean? Tmuna b'derech Eikroi." And he's holding the fire in a way that no one could see the actual flame. A flashlight. He's not talking about a flashlight with batteries. He's talking about a flashlight with fire, with a wick. והודר מויסם והספקלריה, דאבל בישורei סעור, דרך הספקלריה, מקום הכל מקרה זה יהיה ממש לעניין ברכס בוידם הריש, ועניין שיהיה אור מקולה. You need the fire to be revealed, and if it's behind the glass, it's not good. Morgen, aber ich kann gerade da keine Schasha Barzo. Afshish when come mehr Beslavs la devil beside specular shul schuchis, mit roya shul have. The yochle war collection of some flesh, sham shleider. Beim bir Allah gewenet kann place himself get that shukhnarach vaken and kedai lach kilot bezet. The shukhnarach has a problem if the light is hidden by a panas. The light is hidden by a spaklaya. What's this aspaklaya? So one thing is it's a cage made out of metal, and you can't see. You see the glow of. You don't see the fire. The light comes out, but you don't. Huh? The pashtus aspaklaya means a glass. Is a glass. So some of them say, "Oh, the Shulchan Aruch is saying if the light is behind the glass, you have a problem." But the emes is exactly what Aaron just said. Depends which glass. You have to think. If it's a regular glass, see-through glass, why would the Shulchan Aruch have a problem? It'd be very schwer to build something up. If the glass is similar to metal, it's like this. Anyway, this is not classic light bulb, but even when you could buy a classic light bulb, they used to have two light bulbs. One is the glass that you can see through it, and one is the glass that was like painted inside. You can't see through it. Frosted glass. Yeah. So over there, if it's frosted glass, I would say that's what the Mishnah Berurah is talking about. But to say if it's chuchis, that's what the Mishnah Berurah meant to be machmir. Isaiah Shver. Anyway, the Alter Rebbe seems to hold that the halach is that even if it's ba'ashoshis, as long as you can see the shalhevis, you could make a bracha. So the bottom line is, if it's glass and it's not frosted, you could see it. What are you telling me? I can, and even if the Mishnah Berurah meant to be machmir, it's shver. But if it's taka frosted glass, so you're not seeing the fire. It's the problem. You're not seeing the fire. That's taka what Shulchan Aruch says. You're not seeing the fire. You're not seeing the fire. So, but I have to make it clear that this whole thing is only about the original light bulb. But if you're talking about fluorescent lights today, LED, v'chulu, it's a big shaila if it's considered eish. If there is a malacha deiraisa, and if it is also deiraisa to turn on and off the switch on these light bulbs, if it's not mitzad meleches mavir and mechaber for different reasons, I don't know. There could be one of a half a dozen other yisura deiraisa that could be involved, but not making a fire or putting out a fire. So you can't use it for. So kemat, there's the opposite child. Today, people make boiler animation. The electricity is still in that room. So the you have to. The Gemara says you have to be able to tell the difference of the light from one matbeya and another matbeya. So the truth is, you have to judge if the lights were off in the room. If you don't turn off the lights. But the shaila is, if the lights would have been off from where you're standing, would you be able to tell the difference of one matbeya and another matbeya? If the answer is yes, you're Yoitz Havdalah. If the answer is no, you're not Yoitz Havdalah. The Neir Havdalah. You have to judge if someone's standing right over there. If the lights were off and I'm standing here, based on that Havdalah candle, would I be able to tell the difference of one matbeya and another matbeya? If the answer is yes, I can make the bracha b'orem ha'reish. If the answer is no, I can't make the bracha b'orem ha'reish. So, to summarize, it seems clear from Gedol Yisrael, what do you have better than a Chaim Brisker, the Rogachover, and the father, the Minchas Loser? Yeah, and they thought that electric light, they probably wanted to show that electric light is really Machaba Mabir. So the Chaim said, you know what I mean? The Brisker way. I'm going to make Boider Bereish. I'm going to show you that this is a fire. So therefore, I would say bottom line, Taka Mishnah Berurah says that if it's through a glass, but you could see it through, you could make the Baruch Bottom Age. Frosted glass, not. All these lights, zicher not. And but the flip side, when you have the lights on, people don't realize it's not a ceremonial bracha. It has to be that you could, theoretically, if the lights were off, that you'd be able to make the difference of one matbeya and another matbeya. The Eibush shall help him Shabi a große Lichtigkeit, man soll rausgehen mit der Lichtigkeit, lekras Mashiach Tzidkenu. We'll deal with another time. You have no choice, right? I think. We'll talk. Sei gesund.
I know when our daughter or something she's in NYU.
Yeah.
Chaplain goes around with electric Shabbos.
You have a choice.
No, you can't. They're not going to let you fire it out. And some people hold.
What'd you say? Someone hold?
Say some people hold it. If you don't have those lights, you can turn the light on and off.
Right.
By the bed.
Right.
And then